Hello and welcome all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados. My name is Hakon and today I'm going to play a new fighting fantasy gamebook, and the time has come for the at the time very controversial House of Hell. Yes, it is the book that was so controversial that they had to change the title in America to House of Hades. Yes, I know. I mean, Hades, that is the Greek underworld. It has nothing to do with the Christian idea of hell at all. Um, and it, and of course, in this book, there apparently are some kind of sort of Satanist cultists. And what have they got to do with Hades? It beggars belief. Also, it doesn't sound that nice. At least it's an alliteration, which is an improvement compared to another book that changed its title, and that we will get to eventually. Um, I'll just mention it right away because what's wrong with this picture? Crypt of the Sorcerer. Yes. Sorcerers don't live in crypts, do they? Necromancers, on the other hand, live in crypts, but apparently necromancer is a dirty word, so you couldn't call it Crypt of the Necromancer, which also would have been a nicer title. Because Crypt and Necromancer, it's got the alliteration going as well. So yes. PC title, completely pointless. Same with House of Hades. Doesn't work. And also there was a picture in here that was censored in later versions. I've got it in my version. So, without too much further ado, because a little bit further ado, some ado is good. Okay, so House of Hell is one of those books that I did not play back in the 80s and early 90s. I don't think I had it, even. I don't think at the time, the idea of it didn't appeal to me as much as the fantasy settings, gothic or modern contemporary horror, sort of hammer horror kind of things. I mean, I did like watching it on TV. I just wasn't sure whether that was the kind of genre I liked for a game book. So, I definitely preferred the fantasy settings of most of the fighting fantasy game books. Right, without too much further ado, I will get started. So here we are, Fighting Fantasy game book number 10. Oh, and the reason, by the way, if you haven't caught up on that already, there were previous book I played was Scorpion Swamp, which was number 8, and then this is number 10 because I've already done number 9 before. So if you haven't seen number 9 and you're wondering where that is, you have to go a little bit further back in my playlist, and it is the third one I did after Return to Firetop Mountain and Freeway Fighter. So there we are. And that was the last one I did before I decided to do them all in order, in the numerical order. Right, so there we go. House of Hell. Right, here we are. I just need to move my screen a little bit so I can actually see what I'm doing on my camera now. The thing is, of course, my camera showing my face now is in the way of the screen, so I can't see what I'm doing on the screen. Got my cup of tea today, and I've got my book, my pens, paper, paper for mapping. Still got a few sheets left of this pad. I will have to find another pad at some point during this book, probably, and a character sheet. Now, I understand there is a something different about the characters here, so I'll go through this now. Because you have a fear score or something like that, or a horror score. Let's see. So it says that you start your adventure unarmed with no provisions or potions, and you have to avoid being frightened to death. Yes, that sounds like fun already. Skill, stamina, and luck. Let's see. At least we got skill, stamina, and luck. So our old friends, skill, stamina, and luck are with us at least. Skill, I got 11. Stamina, we've got a respectable 21. And luck. Oh, okay. So quite good abilities right off here, but there is something else here as well. At some point there will be, I suppose that's a fear score or a horror score or something you start from 0 maybe and add as you go. Battles, okay, I presume. Oh, fear, here we are. As well as surviving your adventure by ensuring that your stamina never drops to 0, in the House of Hell you must also avoid being frightened to death. Before you begin your adventure, roll 1 die and add 6. Okay, so that's my how much fear I can take. Ooh. I'll reroll the ones because I don't know, 5. Okay. And this is my fear score. Ooh. Maximum fear, so max fear 11. Okay. The fear score is the number of points you can take before being frightened to death. During the adventure, you will come across situations where you must, for example, add 1 or 2, etc. fear points. Your fear score starts at 0, and okay, so it starts at 0, and that's the max. I suppose I could have done it the other way around, where you have fear and you, or sanity, maybe I could call it, and then you start at 11 and you go down to 0, like in Call of Cthulhu, role-playing game. Right. Escaping, that's a normal thing. Weapons, let's see. You begin the House of Hell with no weapons. Your skill score reflects your combat ability with a weapon, so we got 8 without a weapon. Okay. Yep. I think otherwise there is. Excuse me. Yes. Otherwise, it seems to be quite standard fare. There's one true way, etc. Minimum of risk, etc. It says here as well, the usual. Oof. The sun getting brighter outside now. Oh, somehow to. When you have a south-facing window right in front of you, getting the lighting right during the day is sometimes a bit difficult. It's a lot easier in the evenings, I can tell you. Okay. Let's get started, and this time we've got a section called Background, which has become the standard, it looks like, in these books. The rain spatters the windscreen relentlessly. You can see no more than a watery gloom as you strain forwards over the steering wheel to see the road ahead. Although the wipers flap valiantly, they are fighting a losing battle as the rain drives harder and harder. Your foot eases off the accelerator. Headlights struggle to light up the road. Damn. Curse the white-haired old man who sent you off along this bumpy track. Probably he meant the second turning on the left, or even a right turning. The old fool. Perhaps this is his idea of a joke. After all, didn't you notice a mischievous glint in his eye? Something vaguely sinister? But what sort of nonsense is this? Oh, I just remembered I haven't set the focus for my webcam. Sorry. Should be about here. Okay. Sorry about that. Yes. But what sort of nonsense is this? So you've taken a wrong turn and got caught in the downpour in the night. The rain will ease off soon. It can't possibly keep up this deluge for long. And then you will be able to... Watch out! You spin the wheel frantically to the left to avoid the figure who, from nowhere, shows up in the headlights. The car bumps and jolts as it bounces over the rocky roadside and thumps into a ditch. You collect your thoughts. You are unhurt, but shaken. Then you remember what has happened. The body. You must have hit the figure which appeared. There was no way you could have avoided him. You spring out of the car, praying that he is still alive. Your clothes soak up the rain as you hobble back to the road. In the darkness it is difficult to see anything, but there is no sign of a body. You consider the situation. Are you certain that it was someone and not a trick of the light? Yes. You can remember the arms held up in fright as the car collided, and the look of anguish on his face. His face. There was something familiar about that face. A man you recognized. An old man with white hair. Your heart leaps. No, impossible. With a shiver of fear, you race back to the car, jump inside, force the key into the ignition, and twist it violently. The starter coughs, splutters, and dies. You hit the key again, but this time a single shudder is all the engine can manage. You grasp the wheel with your hands and shake it desperately, as if to force some life into the car. But the battery is dead. Why would the battery be dead? It doesn't make any sense. That means your dynamo doesn't work. Because you've just been driving, the battery shouldn't be dead. Anyway, your car is certainly not budging from the ditch tonight. Sorry, I'm breaking the atmosphere by thinking logically. Your situation is hopeless, but now the plight of your car is paramount. Where can you get help? You passed a garage at Mingleford, but that was some 20 miles away. As if in answer, a light appears in the distance. Someone has switched on a bedroom light. What a stroke of luck! It was at least 15 miles back that you passed the last house, and you happened to have broken down just a short distance from someone's home. How lucky. You button up your coat and open the door. From outside the car you can see the building more clearly. Just ahead, on the left, a drive winds up to a large house. It is a good 5 minutes' walk away, and by the time you reach it, you will be drenched. But how else can you call the garage? You can't afford to miss tomorrow's appointment. No, go you must. But you're sitting there in a ditch. Your car is broken down. You're thinking about going about the 20 miles to the nearest petrol station, nearest garage, and you think you're getting drenched in 5 minutes is your biggest worry. That's funny. That is funny. Okay. No, go you must. Anyway, you'll probably be able to dry off inside after phoning the garage. Yes, probably. Otherwise, you've got a dry car to go into afterwards, so come on. You slam the door, turn up your collar, and set off for the house. A flash of lightning lights it up clearly for you, but in your preoccupation with the rain, the warning from above is wasted on you. The house is old, very old, and in a shocking state of repair. The light in the window is flickering, most likely an oil lamp, certainly not electric. And you don't notice a fact that might have turned you back anyway. There is no telephone line going to the house. As you climb the steps to the front door, little do you realize what fate has in store for you. Well, it's not indicated on the cover, but tonight is going to be a night to remember. If you survive to remember it. Okay, now turn over. So, nice sort of classic horror story opening there. Hammer horror, yeah. Somebody might have watched a few Hammer horror films. This is Steve Jackson's, by the way, not Ian Livingstone this time. It's UK Steve Jackson, not US Steve Jackson, like the Scorpion Swamp, the last book. Okay. And that's a nice picture. It looks almost like a sort of block print, where there's more black than white, which is nice. Paragraph 1. Yes, we are on paragraph 1. Okay, so starting down here. You climb the creaking steps up to the front door and pause to catch your breath. Even though you ran all the way up the drive from the car, you are soaked through. Your feet are particularly wet. Judging by the number of puddles you stepped into in the dark, the drive needs a small fortune spending on repairs. But under the porch you are out of the storm, and you brush the rain from your clothes before turning towards the door. The rain is still pelting down, but an eerie silence hangs in the air. No lights are on downstairs. You step back off the porch to check the upstairs window, which attracted your attention earlier. Nothing. No lights. The whole place seems to be deserted. But then you remember the time. 5 minutes to midnight. Everyone in the house has probably gone to bed. An owl hoots in the distance and a shiver runs down your spine. The situation is a little scary. Here you are, in the middle of nowhere, at some strange run-down old house about to wake up whoever lives inside. at midnight. They certainly won't be too pleased. But you have no choice if you are going to make your appointment tomorrow. You must reach a telephone to call for help. You step up to the front door. From the left-hand side of the house, a dull glow catches your attention. A light has been turned on. You breathe a sigh of relief. At least someone is awake. You consider your options. There is an elaborate knocker in the middle of the door and a bell pull hanging down to the right. Will you rap the door with a knocker, pull the cord, or creep around the house to investigate the light? Well, got three options. So we've got student like that. So we've got investigate 289. Is this inside shot? Yeah, just investigate. Okay. 357 knocker or 275 cord. Why would you have a knocker and a cord? I suppose a knocker is... It looks nice, doesn't it? What if you pull the cord? I mean, an old house like this, if you pull the cord, it might fall down. Then again, it might also fall down if you knock. I'm going to pull the cord. Yes. Don't know why. I'm going to pull the cord. You grasp the rope and pull. From the depths of the house, you hear a tinkling noise, and the light coming from the side window goes out. Turn to 357. Okay, so that's the same as the paragraph for using the knocker, so it doesn't make a difference then which one you choose. A few moments later, the door handle turns slowly and the door opens. Standing in the doorway is a tall man dressed in a dark suit with tails. His long face is solemn. Yes? He asks, indignantly. You smile nervously and explain your situation. Your car is broken down, you need to reach a telephone, and you are soaked to the skin. The man's face remains expressionless. Come in, he orders. The master is expecting you. Follow me. He leads you into the reception hall and tells you to sit down while he informs his master of your arrival. Turn to 8th. Well, that sounds quite ominous, doesn't it? His master is expecting me. Well, you could have seen the car, I suppose. Okay. You sit down in a solid carved chair and look around. The reception hall is certainly not what you would have expected from the outside. It is elegantly decorated with rich tapestries and fine oak panels. A number of portraits line the walls. A sturdy 16th century table is set against one wall. Will you wait for your host to arrive? Study the paintings or hunt for a telephone? Well, it would seem rude to go off on your own, I think, so I'm going to stay there, but I'm going to look at the paintings. So we got 304 paintings. 238 telephone, or 277 just wait. So I'm going to study the paintings, see if I can. Also, it's nice if you're cold and wet. It's nice to be just up and about and move around a little bit as well. 3 portraits are particularly excuse me particularly interesting. When you look at a beautiful young woman wearing a tiara, a middle-aged portly gentleman wearing half-moon glasses, or an elderly woman with grey hair and a cold expression. Interesting choice. Okay, so we've got... On today's portrait menu, we have the following portraits. So 151, young, 37 man or 250 old. Okay. So, which one do I want to look at? The young woman? Gentleman? Well, I suppose if you need to get warmed up, looking at a picture of a beautiful young woman is probably the best way to go. So I'm going to go to 151. Right. A plaque beneath the painting reads, Lady Margaret of Danvers, 1802 to 1834. You stand and admire her beauty and wonder why she died so young. Well, wasn't unusual in them days. And you're staring at her face, you suddenly blink and look again. Didn't you just see her lips moving? Surely not. A whisper reaches your ears, but you cannot make out its message. You lean forwards and put your ear to the lips. A soft woman's voice is speaking to you. Stranger, beware of this place, for it is cursed. Many have succumbed to its power, myself included. The evil Lord Kelnor will already be plotting your death. Drink not his white wine, or if you can, be gone. Escape while you may. You step back, aghast. What sort of place is this? A creepy run-down old building filled with priceless antiques and paintings which talk. A cold prickle runs down your neck and you must add 1 fear point. Okay, so we got... Fear is now 1. 10 points to go. Will you now run for the door or wait to see what happens? So we've got... okay, so we got hint, I suppose, there on 151. Fear +1. And I was told not to drink the white wine, and of course this is a Steve Jackson book, which means hints are very important. I'll just go back to this section if I'm trying to remember something from the hint there. So Lord Kelnor, plotting death, don't drink the white wine, and maybe 1802 to 1834 might also be relevant at some point. I don't know. I'm not going to run for the door. I'm going to see what happens. And go to 277. So we are back to the paragraph we would have been going to if we'd only just waited and done nothing else. So we're a little bit more scared, but also we know a little bit more, which is good. Oh, he looks a bit sinister. Footsteps. Someone is coming. The tall man you met earlier walks in, opening the door for another tall man dressed in a purple smoking jacket. May I present Lord Kelnor, the Earl of Druma, the butler announces. The Earl holds out his hand and you shake it. His grip is strong and his eyes pierce yours. His lips widen to a soft smile. You begin to tell him of your predicament, but he holds up his hand. Please, I can see that you have been caught in this filthy storm. Let us sit by the fire and we'll see whether we can help. Franklin's, tell the cook to prepare some food for our visitor. You protest that you do not wish to be any trouble, but your host ignores you and leads you into a drawing room where a fire is burning. Take off your coat and sit down. The heat of the fire makes you feel comfortable once more. Franklin's returns with 2 glasses of brandy. Will you relax, drink the brandy, and ask if you can use the telephone, or will you wait to see what he asks of you? Well, I'm going to relax, drink the brandy, and ask about the telephone, because that seems to be the logical thing to do now. So we have 111, wait, 394, relax. The fire and the brandy warm you and you begin to feel more relaxed. You may deduct 1 fear point if you have any. Oh, good. You explain to the Earl what happened on the road and that you would like to use his telephone to call the local garage. I'm afraid our telephone line came down tonight in the storm, he replies. We will have it repaired tomorrow morning. In any case, the garage would not come out here at this hour. But don't worry, you are perfectly welcome to spend the night here. I'm glad of the company. Tomorrow Franklin's will take you into town. Ah, here is Franklin's now. The butler comes back in to announce that a meal is ready. You both rise to go into the dining room. Turn to 309. So, 309. The dining room looks magnificent. A long table stretches between two fine chairs and is laid with gleaming silver cutlery. A rich red wallpaper covers the walls and the room is lit by a sparkling chandelier, bristling with candles, which hangs from the ceiling. You take your seat and the butler moves behind you to offer you wine. Will you take white wine or red? No, not to take the white wine. That is to say, if the painting told me the truth. I mean, I don't know. Do paintings usually tell the truth? Do ghosts usually tell the truth? It's a good question. Okay. So, white wine or red wine. So I'm going to go there. 269. White or 395. Red. So I'm going to go with the red wine, of course, knowing that white might be the bad choice. The wine is impeccable, a fine vintage. Soup follows, and then you may choose either lamb or duck for your main course. Or you can tell your host that you have already eaten and you are not hungry. Well, I don't know, it just seems a bit rude. And also I think I am hungry, so I'm going to go to one of those. Let's see, 1.5. Duck or lamb. Of course, now there might be something dodgy with the food as well, but I'm going to go with the lamb. 196. A rack of lamb is brought in on a silver platter. The smell is delicious. You both start to eat and talk. The Earl asks you about your job and your reason for being in such an out-of-the-way place in the middle of the night. In turn, he tells you about himself and his family. Turn to 28. Okay. 28. The Earl of Drumer is the last survivor of his family. His estate stretches for miles around the house. At one time, the estate was prosperous, with many tenant farmers cultivating his land and providing a healthy income for his family. But things started to change. His sister died at the age of 32 under mysterious circumstances. Isn't that the age of the lass in the painting? 32. Yes, Lady Margaret of Danvers was 32 when she died. There must be a connection there. Is this actually Lady Danvers, Margaret of... Is that her brother? Who's a few hundred years old? She was found dead in a clearing in the woods with strange marks on her neck. The news travelled fast, and the ignorant peasants started muttering about witchcraft and black magic. In their eyes, the house was cursed. Pure superstitious nonsense, of course. But gradually the farmers moved on to new pastures, avoiding the estate. By now you have finished your meal. Franklin's returns to you to offer you fruit, cheese, coffee, and brandy. What do you take? Fruit, coffee, and brandy? Cheese, coffee, and brandy? Or just cheese and coffee? All these choices. Okay, so So we've got 224, 74, or 319. So fruits, coffee, brandy, cheese, coffee, brandy, cheese and coffee. Cheese and coffee, that doesn't go, does it? Fruit, coffee and brandy, cheese, coffee. Fruit, coffee and brandy. Fruit, coffee and brandy. Yes, I'm going to go 224. Franklin's brings them to you and you finish off your meal. Well, my friend, says the Earl, you must now be quite tired. It is well past midnight. Franklin's will show you to your room. You thank him and follow the butler out of the dining room. This way, if you please, he says as he leads you up a magnificent wide staircase with carved wooden banisters. A landing at the top leads to various different rooms, each with a name plaque on the door. It takes you to one which reads Erasmus Room and opens the door, wishing you a good night's sleep. 25. Okay. So we have here 5. Yes. The bedroom has been prepared for you. The room is not large, but a huge mirror appears to double its size. Crisp white sheets have been folded back on the bed, and a warm fire burns in the fireplace. The door closes as the butler leaves the room, and you walk over to the fire. Your situation is a little worrying. If you don't get going quickly, you will never make your appointment. I don't know what the appointment is, really. I mean, how important it is. But if it is true that there is no phone you can use, what else can you do? Maybe you should just hang your wet clothes in front of the fire and climb into bed. Or would you rather leave the room? Well, I don't know. I'm just going to go with the flow here, and I'm going to go into bed and see what happens. Because so far I don't really, I mean, I have been given a tip by the painting that maybe I should get out of the place. But apart from that, I don't have any reason to. So I'm sure if I go into bed, I will be given a reason to leave the room anyway. That is more in keeping with what's going on here. Anyway. The bed is warm and comfortable, and you soon drift off to sleep. Strange and disturbing thoughts drift through your mind, and you wake suddenly in a cold sweat. A noise has disturbed you, and you realize that it was the sound of the door closing. You look around the room and notice a glass containing a clear liquid by the side of your bed. Someone has brought you a bedtime drink. You spring out of bed and try the door, but it is locked. Do you wish to swallow the drink that has been brought for you? Or will you try to break down the door? Quite bizarre choices. I mean, there's a third option too. Just go back to bed and ignore the drink. Drink, door. I don't know. I mean, if I'm not suspicious of all these people, would I drink the drink? Am I suspicious of these people? Do I have good reason to yet? But locking the door, I suppose. Yeah. Well, I know not to drink the white wine. If I've been told not to drink the white wine, I can sort of assume that maybe there will be something in other drinks that I should not be drinking. I'm going to try breaking down the door now because I'm getting a bit suspicious that something is amiss. You take a short run and charge at the door. It shudders and the noise reverberates through the house. But the lock holds firm and you bounce off, clutching a sore arm. Deduct 2 stamina points. Okay, 19 stamina. If you wish to try charging again, turn to 106. If you feel that the door is too strong and you are unlikely to break it down, turn to 158. Okay. Surely there must be other I mean, that's not the best way to start trying to get out of a door, isn't it? I'm going to go to 158. I'm going to think it's too strong to break down. And also, why are you trying to break down the door, really, when you think about it? Shouldn't you first thing be try to find the key inside the room? I don't know. You can hear slow footsteps approaching your room. They stop outside the room and a key rattles as it unlocks your door. You must quickly decide whether to jump into bed and pretend to be asleep, or to hide behind the door to surprise whoever is about to come in. Right, so maybe I should 179 pretend or 373 hide. I'm going to pretend to be asleep. I'm going to see what happens. Pretend to be asleep. You spring into the bed and wrap the sheets around you, keeping one eye open just wide enough to see what is going on. A shambling figure enters the room. It looks like a man who is bent over double, and he is carrying a glass of liquid in his hand. Placing the glass on your bedside table, he turns to leave the room. Do you want to leap out of bed and attack him, or will you wait until he has gone and swallow the drink he has left for you? Okay. That's a 45 again, which is... But he already left me drink before. That's a bit weird. So... Is it going to be an endless cycle of... until I drink something? Let's see, 399. Attack. Or drink, which is the same as the previous paragraph about drinking the liquid. And Madame got 2 glasses. I don't know, this is a bit strange. Anyway. Okay, I'll attack him. See what happens. Still doesn't seem the logical thing to do, I think. Your visitor is a hunchback, and he is both surprised and frightened as you leap on him. Resolve your battle. So when you have reached his stamina, reduce the stamina to 4 points or less, turn to 220. Okay, so that's my next paragraph, 220. So, so I've got a fighting skill of 8 and a stamina of 19. He has a skill of 7 and a stamina of 7. I have to hit him twice, really. Excuse me. So he rolls 3, which I add to his 7, that gets a 10. And I roll 7, which I add to 8, and I get 15, which is higher, and I injure him. It's down 2 points. Same again. He rolls 8, I roll 5. He hits me for 2 points. He rolls 7, I roll 7, and he is down to 3. And then I go to 220. The poor miserable creature pleads for mercy. He is such a pitiful sight that you step back as he grovels on the floor. He will do you no harm and thanks you continually for sparing his life. Do you now wish to leave the room, locking him in behind you, turn to 350, or will you try to force him to answer your questions? Okay, so 2, 3, 4, ask, or 350, leave. I'm going to ask him some questions, I suppose. He is terrified of you and agrees to answer your questions in exchange for his miserable life. Do you wish to ask him how you can escape from the house, about the people in the house, what is happening in the house? So It's a bit strange to ask him about escaping, because at the moment I'm not really that trapped, am I? People and 325 happening. What's happening in the house? Yeah, let's do that. 325. Excuse me. What is happening? He asks. But surely you know, is that not why you are here? Tonight, Brother Isaacson is to receive the Master's blessing. The quizzical look takes the hunchback by surprise. He realizes he's said the wrong thing. You are not one of the Master's friends, are you? A curse on me, I should have realized, he moans. The Master will punish me for this. I must warn him. He hobbles towards the door to try to escape, but you are too quick for him. You force him out of the way and spring outside the room, locking the door behind you. Turn to 350. Okay. So, which also probably means that the drink was not sinister at all in that case. You are on the landing overlooking the entrance hall. To your right, a passageway ends at a door. To the left, the landing turns right past a couple of doors. Do you wish to turn to the right, or would you prefer to follow the landing round to the left? So we have... Let's see... Right is 332. Right. Or 257. Left. So, right, I suppose. 332. At the end of the corridor, ahead of you is a stout wooden door. While you are considering whether or not to try this room, a noise behind you startles you. You spin round only to find that the wind is rustling wall hangings. There is nothing to be afraid of. You turn back and are amazed to find a faint white figure has appeared in front of you. This apparition is a young woman in her early 20s with long flowing hair. She is dressed in a white bridal dress which has seen better days. It is ripped and torn. "Oh, thank God I have found you in time," she says. "I must talk to you immediately. Come, let us go into this room." Will you follow her into the room? Or do you suspect a trap and would rather turn back? Whichever you choose, you must add 1 fear point for your encounter. So, off to 1 again. Okay. 73. Follow. 279, turn back. Well, I'm a bit curious now. I'm going to follow her into the room and see what she has to say. Oh, that's a long one. To enter the room, she passes right through the door. You, of course, must use more traditional methods. You turn the handle and walk into the Apollyon room. It is an elegant bedroom. Fine floor-length curtains hang along the one wall. An enormous bed with lace coverings is against another wall. And opposite stands a beautiful dressing table with a huge mirror. The woman hovers in the center of the room and bids you to sit down on the bed. "Your coming here has been no accident," she starts, "and I must warn you of the terrible dangers that you will face here. This house is ruled by my master, a powerful black priest of the night named Kelnor, Earl of Druma. I would guess that you are to be offered to the demons of hellfire if you survive that long. Yesterday they trapped a girl, a pretty young district nurse, who happened to call. She is to be offered tonight. I cannot let this devilry continue. There must be some way it can be stopped. If you can find the crysknife, you might defeat Kelnor, for this weapon is his only weakness. Please help me. You will probably find it in... No! Quick, we are discovered. I can hear the hounds. Go, leave this room. You stand up. She was right. You can hear barking getting rapidly closer. She motions to you, pointing at the door. You run to the door and peer outside. Nothing. The barking gets louder and you turn back towards the ghost, who seems to be struggling with something. She is involved in a fight with two huge, ghostly Great Danes which are snapping and clawing at her. You take a step back forwards, but it is hopeless. You cannot help, as you cannot even touch the beasts. And your help would have been very welcome, because the dogs are much too powerful for her. She is weakening, and as she does so, her image fades. Moments later, she disappears completely. Satisfied that their job has been done, the two Great Danes disappear also. You are alone. Now what will you do? Do you want to help her, as she asked? Or would you rather just escape from the house? Okay, so that seemed like a good sort of hint again there. Two options. Help, 257. Okay, which is the same as going left, by the way. Oh, 346. 346. Escape. So I want to try to help, of course. Otherwise, I might as well have bought a different book. You consider your best plan as you walk down the passageway. You turn right along the landing and two doors are on your left. The first has Azazel written on its nameplate and the second Mephisto. Oh dear. So, just nice guys and... Do you want to try either of these rooms? If so, you may enter the Azazel room by turning to 358. So we got Azazel. Who would I rather meet, Azazel or Mephisto? I don't know anything about Azazel, to be honest. I know about Mephisto, so... I know Azazel is one of the archdemons. 298. So maybe I should go with Mephisto. At least I know what he is up to. Maybe. Because I read it in the book. So I'll go into the Mephisto room. The handle turns and the door opens a little, but it is caught on something and will not open any further. Do you wish to try to force the door, or will you leave it and continue along the landing? So, 287. That's a bit strange. I mean, the option shouldn't really be continue along the landing. Shouldn't it be go into the other room? I don't know. I'm going to try to force the door anyway. 390 force. You heave at the door with your shoulder. The wood creaks and it opens a little further, enough to let you into the room. It is small and bare, and a cold, damp wind swirls through it, billowing the curtains. The window pane is smashed, and the floor beneath the window is sodden from the rain. You look around, but there is nothing unusual in the room, apart from a frayed length of knotted rope. You may take this with you if you wish. I'll leave. Okay, so I've got a length of rope. As you pull the door to, you find a piece of glass wedged underneath it, which was making it stick. You turn left out of the room and continue along the landing. Turn to 287. You walk up to the two doors in the corner of the balcony. The one on your left is named Balthus, and the one in front of you has no name. So if you wish to enter the Balthus room, turn to 299. If you'd rather go through the other door, turn to 86. 86. Other. If you choose to ignore these doors and continue around the landing, turn to 193. 193. Continue. I'm going to go through the nameless door. Yes, 86. The door opens into a narrow passageway which ends at a window. There is a door halfway along the left-hand side, and the sign on the door identifies it as the Diabolus room. If you wish to try this door, turn to 13. If you wish to investigate the window instead, turn to 110. If you're not keen to do either and would prefer to go back through the door and continue along the landing, turn to 193. Okay, so there's 193. Then there is 13. Diabolus. Or 1110 window. I'm going to investigate the window. Yeah. Curtains are drawn across the window and you approach cautiously. Oh. You gently pat the folds in the curtain and are relieved to find nothing there. Although they seem to be safe, you are still on your guard as you draw them apart. As you do so, a thunderclap booms outside and makes you jump. But you are safe. A perfectly ordinary window is uncovered. However, the heavy iron bars on the outside are a little worrying. Through the window you can see nothing but the rain running down the pane of glass, but curiously the rain is avoiding one area. Could it be that the wind is blowing the rain away from this corner? You bend down to take a closer look. Written in the condensation which has formed on the glass is a message. You read 3 words. Mordana in Abaddon. You repeat this message to yourself and then rub it off the window, in case anyone else should see it. The message may be useful to you and you will realize when it is. If later in the adventure you want to use the message, turn to reference 88. Okay, so we've got Mordana in Abaddon. Paragraph 88. Okay, that's a bit of an unusual mechanic there. Okay. Now you must head back to the landing and turn left. Turn to 193. So again, you got a hint there. I'll call it that. So, and 193. Okay. A short distance further on, you come to the top of the main staircase, which leads downwards. Immediately opposite the staircase is an unmarked door. If you wish to go downstairs, try the unmarked door, or will you continue round the landing? So we've got okay. So 132 downstairs. (377) door, or 233 landing. I'm going to do the door, I think. 377. You step into a small storeroom and close the door behind you. There are shelves on the left and right walls on which various household objects are stored. In front of you, in the wall facing the door, is another door. What do you want to do? Will you search through the things on the shelves? So we got shelves and return to the landing, which was 223. That's up there. Or try the other door, 255 door. Or 83 search. I'm going to search first of all. Various items of crockery, cutlery, and food are kept in the storeroom, including a sharp meat knife, which you might like to hide under your coat to use as a weapon in the future. This sharp knife will allow you to add 3 skill points in a fight. Lovely. So my skill is now 11. On one shelf you find several cloves of garlic, which you may also take. Garlic, always useful in case there are vampires. Aren't there always vampires in these books? Well, there's hardly any of these books without vampires. Anyway. Not the ones by Ian Livingstone, anyway. There's also an unlabeled bottle of white liquid on another shelf. If you wish to drink the liquid, turn to 362. If you would prefer to ignore the liquid and try the door at the back of the storeroom, turn to 255. So we go to 255, or we can go back to the landing, or we can drink the liquid. I don't know. 362 drink. I'm not going to drink any liquid now. It sounds too risky. I don't drink strange liquids in strange houses. Oh, if I don't know what it is, I'm not drinking it. It's white though, so it's probably Gaviscon or something. Right, because a place like this can give you indigestion. So I'm going to go through the door. Excuse me. You step out of the storeroom into a hallway. To your left, the hallway ends at the door which leads into the shaitan room. If you wish to try the door, turn to 200. Almost opposite is the mammon room, which you may enter by turning to 123. Okay, or you may go back to the landing. So we have landing again, or shaitan room or mammon room. So I'm going to go to the shaitan room. Shaitan room? Shaitan? Is it like when Sean Connery says shaitan? Maybe. You open the door and peer around. The room is a large, elegantly decorated bedroom, with a 4-poster bed in one corner. There is a 3-piece suite in the center of the room facing a fireplace. A fire is smouldering, but the room appears to be empty. On the far side of the room are 2 more doors. Do you wish to go in, or quickly close the door and leave the room? So we can leave the room or go inside. So we've got 389 and leave, or 69 enter. I'm going to go into the room. You step inside and close the door quietly behind you. A soft click comes from the lock. As you step forward, a voice greets you. You look around, but you can see no one. The voice continues. So, our visitor is inquisitive, eh? Or are you trying to leave the house? Perhaps our hospitality is not to your liking. Maybe you would like to see some more, shall we say, amusement? The eerie voice makes you nervous. Add 1 fear point. So I'm up to 2 fear points now. Do you wish to stay and talk to the voice, or will you make a hasty exit back through the door? So we've got so that's 120. Leave. Try to. Or talk 291. 291. So I'm going to keep talking, I think. In front of you is a high-backed armchair facing the fire with its back towards you. A figure raises itself from the chair and turns to face you. The man is tall and pale with jet black hair. He wears a long black cape fastened across the neck with a gold clasp. Yes, he says, So far you have fared well against the occupants of the house, but I believe you will find that your run of luck has come to an end. Well, I haven't really met that many occupants of the house, have I? Step forward so I can see you. Will you step forward as he asks, or will you prepare to attack the man? So, 3, 2, 6, or 2, 2, 8. So it is forward or attack. I'm going to prepare to attack him because he sounds like he is goading me now. So I'm going to, yeah. I'm going to prepare to attack. How will you attack the man? Will you use a weapon, or do you have anything else you can use? I don't know, maybe I do have something else. Depends how I do have a weapon, I suppose. I've got a rope and I've got garlic. I don't know, if he is a vampire, I could use the garlic. I suppose. So I'm going to try to see if I can use something else. It says, do you have any garlic with you? Okay. So we have, if you have a gold ring edged with rubies, that's another thing. If you have both of these, you may choose to use either. If you have neither, choose another weapon and turn to 32. So that means I've got, so garlic obviously works in this case. So 361 garlic. Always useful for garlic. There's always a vampire somewhere. 135 ring. So I'm going to use my garlic now. It's a bit strange, isn't it? I'm in a house where you have vampires lurking around and they stock garlic. Doesn't seem like a very clever thing to do. You pull the garlic out of your pocket and hold it up before the man. His expression changes from one of confidence to a look of fright. As you suspected, this vampire cannot bear to be near raw garlic. Sweat breaks out on his forehead and he backs off towards the bed. He's heading for one of the other doors in the room. You hurriedly look around, trying to decide the best way out. Will you try the door on the left, the door on the right, which he was heading for, or will you turn round and dash quickly for the door you came in through? And now, at the risk of making my map more convoluted, let's see, I'm going to do it like this. Probably should have gone to the second page by now, but there you go. So 189 left, 270 right, 190 back. I'm going to try the door that he was heading for, in case there's something interesting there. So 270. You hurl the garlic at the vampire and dash for the door. He shrieks, trying to brush off the garlic. As you fling it open, it opens into a cupboard, but a rather unusual one. The back wall has slid aside, revealing a secret passageway. The vampire is rising to his feet again, so you decide to risk what lies ahead and step through into the passageway, slamming both doors behind you. Turn to 102. Okay. And now maybe I should actually move that up here. 102. Because I don't want to get trapped in the bottom of my map. So 102. The passageway is narrow and only the faintest glow lights your way. After a short distance you come to a staircase which leads downwards. Slowly and cautiously you go down the stairs. After a dozen or so steps you reach another landing. The stairs continue downwards at the landing and you may either follow them down or you may try a door in the wall of the landing. Turn to 24. So this is where I think I will go to the second page of my map, like so. And I'm going to say here, so 102, which is going to 270. So I'm going to either go down further. So we have 216, or I may try a door. 24. I'm going to try a door on this landing. The door opens and you find yourself in a small room. There is another door leading off the room, but in front of you is a strange sight which catches your attention. A shimmering haze seems to be hanging on the wall, almost like a curtain of sparkling water. You step up to investigate and gingerly hold out your finger to touch it. Your finger passes right through. Plucking up your courage, you poke your head into the haze. On the other side, you realize what has happened. Your head has emerged through a large mirror into a reception room. On the wall opposite is a huge mural of a country scene, and standing in the middle of the room are a table and 6 chairs. The sound of voices outside the door startles you, and you draw your head back. Will you wait until the way is clear and step through the mirror? Try the other door in this little room behind the mirror. Or will you instead go back to the stairs and follow them down? Should you just jump into the mirror? I don't know. Right. So I got 216, one option. The other door, 294. Or wait until it's clear and step through the mirror. So that is... I'm going to step through the mirror when the coast is clear. See what happens. You wait until there is silence in the drawing room and step carefully back through the mirror into the room. The coast is clear. You walk over to the door and leave the room. Turn to 131. 131. You leave the room cautiously and look around in the hallway. There is no one in sight. There is a door to your left which you may try by turning to 211. Otherwise, you may turn right and follow the hallway round. Turn to 58. So we've got 211 door or hallway. I'm going to try the door. The door is locked and you will not be able to open it. You turn around and follow the hallway. Okay. The hallway widens. You walk across to another hallway and continue in the direction you were walking until you reach 2 doors opposite each other. Will you try the door on the right or the door on the left? So we've got 2 options. Okay, 118 right or 323 left. I'm going to try the door on the left. The door is locked. The handle and lock are part of an ornate metal plate. Do you have a cast iron key with you? If so, deduct the number on the key from this reference number and turn to the resulting reference to open the door. Nice touch. Otherwise, you must try the door opposite. So key number question mark. Okay. So that must be an important room then. Quickly, because you can hear footsteps approaching from the hallway. Turn to 118. The door opens and you enter the kitchen. The room is empty and immaculately tidy, with all the knives, pots and pans hanging in neat rows along the walls. A double sink is set under a window next to a large cooker and fridge. Sounds like a nice kitchen. A great square table stands in the center of the room. There are 2 doors. One leads outside and the other looks like a pantry door. A large bunch of keys lies on top of the cooker. Keys on top of the cooker. What do you know? So we've got 3, 2, 7 back door. Keys 148 keys, or 126. So there's a door going outside. Am I trying to escape now? Am I trying to? No, I'm not really trying to escape. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to grab the keys. You pick up the bunch of keys and start to flick through them. "Arr!" You scream loudly and drop the keys on the floor, for they are red hot and you have severely burnt your hand. You were using your weapon hand and must lose 3 stamina and 2 skill points. Hooray! Okay, 16 and skill is then 9. But if you wish, you may test your luck. A lucky roll means that you weren't using your weapon hand after all. Okay, I'm going to use my luck for that. So I roll 11 and I was lucky. And I'm down to 10. And I only lost 1 stamina point. Okay, so that's not bad at all then. So I've got 18 stamina and I've still got 11 skill. Okay. The scream and clatter of the falling keys have made quite a noise. Turn to 254. Okay. 254. Your fears are confirmed when the door opens. The noise has attracted the attention of some mysterious friends of the Earl of Druma. 4 men entering the room, all dressed in white gowns and wearing goats' heads to conceal their faces. They're armed with knives and lengths of wood. It would be foolish to resist them, would it? Grabbing your wrist, they take you downstairs into the cellars. There you enter a room in which there are 4 prison cells. 3 are already occupied, but the 4th is empty. You will be detained here at the Earl's pleasure. Your adventure has ended. This is actually the end. The end. And I don't know that much about what's going on here. I know there is some kind of initiation rite happening during the night, and that is also the wrong choice. Right, okay, that was quite a nice little jaunt. I didn't end up in that many fights now, although I presume from what the vampire said that there may be other fights that I could have got into. So what do I know? I know that Mordana in Abaddon is something that I'll need at some point. I know that I can use the garlic. Well, of course, I get the garlic just before getting to the vampire, so that's not critical. I don't know if the rope is useful. I know I need to find a crysknife in order to defeat the Earl eventually. But otherwise, I don't know so much about what's going on here yet. It seems like quite a good atmosphere in this one. And I've certainly got a few other locations on my map that I haven't looked at yet. That will be interesting to see if I can find out some more. So, yeah, I really like this one so far. I can see why this is another of those that people tend to list as their favorite. And I see that also just like the Caverns of the Snow Witch, this was actually began as it started as a shorter adventure in the Warlock magazine. Although so far I haven't really seen any signs of that. Whereas Caverns of the Snow Witch, it's almost seems like it sort of starts with getting to the Snow Witch, and defeating her, and then a new adventure begins as you try to escape from the caverns, and then you meet her again. So it's sort of, you can actually feel that that has happened. So far, I haven't seen any signs of that in this book at all. Yeah, so that's it for today. I don't know when I'll be playing next because, yeah, it might be next week, possibly. Probably actually. Might be Thursday. I'm not gonna promise anything, but Thursday or next week. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've found this quite exciting and interesting as I have indeed. It's I like the atmosphere in this. It's all a bit sort of a little bit sort of creepy or a little bit on edge when you read it and you don't know what's happening, which is a sign of any good horror story, I guess. And I'll be really interested to see what else lies between these pages. So I'm looking forward to next time, and I hope you are too. And if you like this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all those things that people tell me that people do on YouTube. I know I do it as well, actually, on other people's videos. And I think you should do it too, actually, if you like this. So yeah, thanks for watching, and goodbye for now. Bye-bye.